Hi there, this will be a shorter video just covering a few manga I've recently enjoyed and want to recommend to people. I've tried to make sure all 5 manga aren't too well known and are different to each other, so something here will hopefully catch your eye. Since I'm trying not to pick anything too well known, don't expect anything new from Shonen Jump or Shonen Jump Plus here. I have more than enough videos covering manga from Jump, which you can watch on my channel, so have a look there if you want to. So for now, let's look at some other great manga that you might have never heard of. Starting with our first, we have Nightfall Travelers, or Yuyake Trip, by Tomohi. It follows Akane, a very short high school girl who is tasked by her school newspaper club to investigate haunted spots in the maze-like town of Yoinosaka. And even though she's afraid of ghosts, she wants to overcome her phobia, enlisting the help of her tall and quiet classmate Fujino. Together they wander the city, tackling rumors of spooky tunnels, gateways into the spirit world, and a whole manner of other creepy rumors. It's a lot less spooky than it might seem at first, as the manga has a great softness to it through its dialogue, the main characters, and most notably its art. Art which I think is fairly unique for a manga, having less rigid lines and a bigger focus on tone, with it particularly excelling in how it depicts light, visual effects, and the time of day. These panels where the sun shines I think are a really good example of this, and it looks beautiful. It also serves to really sell the duality of the story, with the art being soft and bubbly when we get more cozy and intimate with our main characters, and dark and messy when they're investigating the supposed paranormal. Visually, it's an absolute treat. I especially like how the town is depicted. It's mysterious, creepy, and also beautiful and cozy. There's a lot of detail in the art at times, with buildings packed together in a very realistic way, but it also has an ethereal feel to it too. It is great at handling this duality. Either the author is an absolute god at constructing fictional towns, or they've cleverly found a method to draw really good looking backgrounds by painting over pictures maybe. Either way, it looks great. Akane and Fujino are two fun characters. They bounce off each other really well, and visually they look great together. Their height and personality difference lead to some great contrasting gags. It's nice to see their relationship blossom as they go to all these spooky places together. Often it just ends with them hanging out and having a nice time, and that's pretty much what the manga is overall, a really nice time with a few spooks. With only one volume currently translated in English, this manga will make for a nice cozy evening, and if you just want something short, sweet, with a sprinkle of horror, you can't go wrong with Nightfall Travelers. Cervin is a dark fantasy manga by Kosuke Hamada, mostly known for Hanebado, but if you're a Jump fan, you'll know him from Dogashi Kaden and Pajama no Kanojo. This is a big departure from those sports and romance series though, as Cervin is a meticulously well-drawn medieval fantasy series. A great black dragon has attacked and mostly destroyed the kingdom of Hellentar, but for now it's held at bay from a pact with a powerful deity. We follow the one who made the pact, Princess Asanoe Grand Kamano, and King Cervin, the supposed king of Hellentar and Asanoe's father, although she doesn't remember him at all, the memory of him being the price she paid to stop the dragon. I think father-daughter stories are quite rare in manga, and a fantasy one at that is even rarer, which makes this manga very interesting. I like the two's relationship a lot, and the fact that Asanoe doesn't remember him adds some mystery to the story, since we don't know 100% if King Cervin is her real father. There's a lot it could potentially explore with the two and their relationship, which I'm excited to see more of as the story unfolds in the manga. The world so far isn't the most unique, but it definitely scratches a medieval fantasy itch that feels more classical and less isekai, if that makes sense to you. I can also see some people comparing it to Berserk potentially in the future due to its more adult slant, its detailed art, and some of the creatures and plot events that appear throughout the first few volumes. If I have one criticism, it's that sometimes things happen too fast or resolve too quickly, but in most cases it does go back and flesh out some unresolved plot points eventually. In time, I can see this getting pretty big if it continues with the same quality it's at now, and I'd recommend it to anyone who wants a more serious fantasy story, or if the father-daughter relationship intrigues you. Another thing to note is that apparently the author has remade the first 5 chapters potentially, so if in the future those 5 chapters are seen as the new canon and you're a bit confused with what I'm talking about, that might be why. As of right now though, you can read 12 chapters of Cervin and it's a good time. Our next manga, Soara and the House of Monsters by Hidenori Yamaji, is a little bit older, but I still don't hear as many people talk about it, which is a shame as it's absolutely brilliant. This is another fantasy manga that's less dark and serious as Cervin, but it's bursting with personality. It follows Sabara, a knight trained to fight monsters, who suddenly finds herself lost when the humans and monsters make peace. Eventually, she teams up with a group of dwarves and they travel through all sorts of places, building homes for all different types of monsters. It's such a novel and fun concept that's really brought to life by some amazing artwork that's so expressive. The diagrams of all the houses the crew build are my absolute favourite part of the manga. They bring me back to these books I read as a child called Brambly Hedge. I think it was just about these mice that live together, but they have these amazing pictures of massive tree houses they lived in, with all these little rooms and details. This is what Sabara does too, but every part of these monsters' new homes is carefully considered and tailored to them. One good example is the Electric Wolf and the Mermaid's House, 2 creatures that have fallen in love, but physically they are very incompatible with each other. Soara and co end up building a special house that not only prevents the Thunder Wolf from electrocuting his beloved and destroying everything by absorbing the electricity he generates, but uses it too to power the various appliances within the house, like the grill. And it's so much fun to see how the author creates these fictional houses that best fit these creatures. Not only that, but it also ties in other elements. The example I just gave is a really sweet little love story that made me a little emotional reading it. Soara and the House of Monsters is an excellent little series which I wholeheartedly recommend for everyone. Having just 17 chapters right now, it's the perfect manga to read an arc or two and put down for a while as you wait for more chapters to pile up. 9 Peaks is a delinquent series created by Tetsuhiro Hirakawa, known for some other similar manga like Clover. We follow Gaku Mashio, a local delinquent whose father recently dies. Wanting to reminisce about his father and his life in general, Gaku goes fishing, only to fall into the sea by the pier to be fished out by someone very familiar, his dad. Only it's 22 years in the past, and now both of them are the same age. While having some pretty cool fights, none of them feel especially brutal, and 9 Peaks has a very relaxed aura around it, especially when people aren't fighting. It instead opts to focus more on Gaku and his dad bonding in a really interesting way, as they're the same age, and as of right now his dad doesn't know the truth. They go fishing, they eat together, stuff like that. It's just really fun. I can see it getting very reflective and emotional as the series progresses, but for now it's mostly just a lot of fun, and I think it's worth jumping onto this train before any more big moments happen in the story. If you do want cool fights and delinquent action though, it has that in spades too, with fights being fun, fast brawls that are always enjoyable to read. The art is also great. I especially love the character designs and how it depicts Japan in the year 2000, with its culture of the time being on full display. The fashion and trends depicted in 9 Peaks really help give it a unique feel. I highly recommend it if you like father-son stories, or if you're into delinquent manga and the plot synopsis sounds interesting. It has 37 chapters at the time of writing and gets translated regularly. Super Bowl Girls by Akira Hiramoto, the creator of Prison School, and Muneyuki Kaneshiro, the mind behind Jagan and Blue Lock, is absolutely insane, as expected by the union of these 2 authors. This manga is the most schlocky and skeezy of the list by far, following a young man called Eita Ichiyoshi, an average person who works in a chocolate factory. He ends up finding a bouncy ball on Christmas night, and his wishes of a girl falling from the sky come true, but it ends up being a weird alien lady who appears from the ball he picked up earlier. It's absolutely wild and weird so far, with Eita ending up looking after 4 weird non-human ladies that really want to kiss him, and if that happens, more weird ladies will spawn from them, and I can see this getting absolutely unhinged later down the line. In reality though, I have zero idea where this is going. potentially a weird horror route like Chigan, where the ladies just keep multiplying and maybe kill everyone or take over, or based on the many baseball hints we've had so far, maybe it'll transition into some weird surreal baseball sports series. I'd probably recommend it if you like either of the author's previous works, but if you aren't familiar with them, a warning that there's quite a lot of eroticism and general sexual weirdness in this one. Currently it has 8 total chapters and seems to be getting translated regularly. And there are 5 newer manga you may not have read or heard of, which I've recently enjoyed reading. If you pick up just one manga from watching this video, then I've done what I aim to do here, which is just sharing some cool manga. I might do this again in the future when I've read a few more things I want to showcase, or just find some manga which I think deserve some praise or more eyes on them. Consider subscribing for more content like this, and let me know if you've read anything new and interesting lately, or if you've read anything from this video. And if you do have any lesser known manga to recommend, or something new which I might not have read, perhaps it'll crop up in a future video like this. For now, you can watch some of my older videos. I have a bunch on Shonen Jump, and I plan to make more. I've just come back from a long holiday and I've just moved, so my channel's been a bit light on uploads, but I'm hoping to upload a lot more in the future. As always, thank you for watching, be kind to each other, and take care.